I sent flowers to the wrong apartment. She showed up 3 days later and changed everything. I've always believed that the smallest decisions can ripple into the biggest changes. A delayed train, a missed phone call, a wrong turn. Or, in my case, a wrongly addressed bouquet of flowers. My name is Michael, and I've lived in the same small apartment complex in Cincinnati for nearly a decade. It's not glamorous, but it's home. I'm a 35-year-old insurance adjuster. My life's always been built on structure, predictability, logic. I like things in neat columns, life tidy like my spreadsheets. 3 weeks before this story really begins, Mrs. Langston, my elderly neighbor in apartment 4C, was taken to the hospital. She's a sweet, 84-year-old widow who always kept peppermint candies in a glass bowl by her door and called me Mikey, even though I introduced myself as Michael. Her family lived out of state, and I guess in some small way, I became part of her world. Every Friday evening, she'd be sitting in the hallway with her oxygen tank and a crossword puzzle, and we'd talk for a while. Nothing deep, just small talk, laughs, and sometimes a shared silence that didn't feel awkward. When I found out she had a stroke and was recovering in the hospital, I felt hollow. It's hard to explain. We weren't family, not even friends in the traditional sense. But she was one of the constants in my life. So I ordered flowers for her. A modest bouquet, white tulips and lilacs, with a handwritten card. "Get well soon, Mrs. Langston. We miss you in the hallway. Mikey." I'd used the same local florist I always did, Maple Blooms. They're reliable, quick, and honest. But when I placed the online order and entered her address, I must have misclicked. Instead of 4C, I typed in 4D. That single keystroke, it changed everything. I didn't realize the mistake right away. Life moved on. I went to work. I watered my plants. I forgot about the flowers. Then 3 days later, there was a knock at my door. I opened it, and there she stood. A woman about my age, maybe younger. Her hair was wet like she'd just gotten out of the shower, pulled back into a bun, wearing an oversized hoodie and pajama shorts. She looked hesitant, like she was about to back away. "Are you Mikey?" she asked. Yeah," I said, confused. She lifted the bouquet. "My bouquet. You sent these," she said. "They were left at my door. Apartment 4D. My stomach dropped. "Oh my God," I muttered. "They were meant for 4C. For Mrs. Langston. She had a stroke and I." "It's okay," she said, cutting me off with a small laugh. I figured it was a mistake. But the message was sweet. I was having a rough few days, actually. So thanks. I should have just apologized, taken the flowers, and closed the door. But something about her eyes, tired but kind. The way she didn't try to make the moment awkward. "I don't know," I blurted. "Do you want to come in for some tea?" She hesitated. A full 2 seconds. Then she smiled. "Sure. Why not?" Her name was Elena. She'd moved into 4D just a month earlier, fresh out of a rough breakup. She was a graphic designer, freelancing, mostly staying indoors while she restructured her life. I poured her some chamomile tea. We sat across from each other at my small kitchen table, and we talked. 1 hour turned into 3. 3 days later, she knocked again. This time, holding a Tupperware of homemade cinnamon rolls. I don't know how to explain what happened next without sounding overly dramatic. But it's like the universe twisted on its axis and aligned. We started seeing each other, not officially at first, just frequent visits, dinners, long walks in the park nearby. She told me about her ex, a manipulative jerk who drained her emotionally for 3 years. I told her about my mom's passing and how that left me isolated for too long. We both carried quiet traumas. But something about being together made those wounds easier to hold. One night, about a month in, we sat on my couch, a movie paused on the TV. She rested her head on my shoulder. "Do you believe in fate?" she asked. "I believe in mistakes," I said. "And sometimes, they're better than the plans we had." She kissed me. It wasn't fireworks. It wasn't some slow-motion movie moment. It was something quieter, deeper, like being seen, really seen, for the first time in years. Mrs. Langston came back 2 weeks later. I visited her, apologized for the mix-up, and gave her another bouquet in person. When I mentioned Elena, she just smiled knowingly. "Sometimes God sends us flowers in the wrong places so we find the right people," she said. I laughed, but part of me wondered if she knew something I didn't. Over the next 6 months, Elena became part of my routine. Morning coffee together, grocery runs, cooking disasters on my end. She got me into indie music. I got her into crossword puzzles. We weren't perfect. No couple is. We fought over dumb things sometimes. I'd get caught up in work. She'd pull away when old memories came back to haunt her. But we worked through it. Because we wanted to. Then came the day that shattered everything. It was a rainy Thursday. I came home early from work. Elena wasn't answering her phone. I opened the door to her apartment using the spare keys she gave me. She was sitting on the couch, crying, holding her phone. I'd never seen her look like that. "Elena?" I asked, heart pounding. She looked up slowly. "I didn't know how to tell you." I sat beside her. "What is it?" "My ex, he reached out. He found my new number. Said he wants to meet. He's coming to town." I felt my throat tighten. "What did you say?" I told him no. But part of me. I never really got closure, Michael. I just packed my things and ran. And now, I'm scared. I swallowed hard. "Do you still have feelings for him?" "No. God, no. It's not that. I'm scared he'll pull me back in. I'm scared of what he'll say, what he'll do." I held her hand. "You're not alone anymore." She nodded, but something in her eyes was distant. Over the next week, she pulled away. Less text replies, shorter visits. I knew she was scared, but I was scared too. Of losing her. Of her slipping through my fingers like so many things in my life had before. Then one day she was gone. No note. No goodbye. Just her keys left on my counter. I didn't hear from her for 2 months. I'd like to say I handled it with grace. But I didn't. I stopped eating well. I stopped talking to neighbors. My apartment felt like a haunted space. Her scent in the pillowcases, her Spotify playlists still queued up. Then one evening, I got a letter. No return address. I opened it with shaking hands. "Michael, I left because I was terrified of ruining you. You were the kindest accident life ever gave me, and I didn't know how to deserve that." My ex did meet me. He said he was sorry, that he still loved me. I told him I didn't. I walked away from him that same day. But I didn't come back to you. Because I didn't want you to be someone I ran to. I wanted to choose you. Fully. With clarity. And I do. I'm in Maine now, with my sister. Healing. Trying to rediscover the pieces of me I'd lost before I met you. But I'm coming back. If you'll have me. 3 days from now. Same place where it all began. I'll be at your door. Love. Elena. I don't think I slept the next 3 nights. When the knock came, I almost didn't open it. I was afraid I'd imagine the letter. But it was her. She was different somehow. Softer. Stronger. She didn't say anything right away. Just walked in and held me. And for the first time in weeks, I exhaled. That was 2 years ago. Today, we live together. Not in the same apartment complex, but in a quiet home on the outskirts of town. Mrs. Langston passed away last winter. We visited her in the hospital, and Elena held her hand. Before she died, she looked at us and whispered, "Told you. Wrong flowers. Right story." Moral. Sometimes life reroutes our intentions to get us where we truly belong. Love doesn't always arrive in the form we expect. In a wrong address? It might just be fate's way of sending you home.